Mr. Carlos? Podría darle a este juego, que ya no sé, como que no... I don't know. Agrégale mote streamer. Yo soy Mr. Carlos. Todos somos Mr. Carlos. Mr. Carlos es una weá omnipotente. Hija transgénero de Elon Musk cambia de apellido para cortar lazos con su padre. No quiero que me asocien a él. ¡Oh, no! ¿De qué trata ese juego culiado? No sé. Pero salió la versión como Deluxe de esta weá y como que todos lo han jugado hace tiempo. Yo nunca lo he jugado, weón. ¿Jugaste a The Stanley Parable alguna vez? No. Jamás. Ajuste la barra de horizonte hasta la computadora. Nah, chao. Introduce la hora actual. Son las 10. Son las 10 pm. Con 23 minutos. Puta la weá. Con 23 minutos. 24, a ver. Esperemos a que llegue la 24, a ver. Espérense. 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 ¿Cuánto queda, weón? El minuto más largo de mi vida. ¡Ay, yo! Listo. Puedes acceder a la configuración de accesibilidad desde el menú principal, dale. Ya, a ver, iniciar partida. A ver, ¿hay alguna cosa que le tenga que cambiar? Esta weá en pantalla completa nomás. Listo, vamos, para atrás. Iniciar partida. ¡Let's go! Ojalá esté bueno, weón. Tengo ganas de jugar algo diferente, weón. Hace tiempo que no he jugado algo diferente, weón. Ya vamos. Me recuerda el Portal, weón. Qué rico se siente la cámara, weón. Qué weá. Ya, a ver,
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
La sala de reuniones. I hate Mondays. ¿Ya? La sala de
When Stanley
reuniones.
came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Vamos a la izquierda, pues, weón, supongo. ¿Ya?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
¿Ya? ¡Zurdo de mierda!
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
Weón, ¿qué pasa si
boss's
hago lo
office.
contrario a lo que hice?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment. No reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply...
¿Qué weá? ¿Qué está pasando,
Stanley
weón?
said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Weón, y volvimos acá.
I suppose
What the
I'll wake up
fuck?
soon. I'll have to go back
Vaquiano.
to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
¿Qué tengo que hacer?
He imagined himself flying and began to
¿No puedo agarrar algo
gently
así?
ground. Then he
Oh,
imagined
¿qué?
himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And
What
then
the
perhaps
fuck?
the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be?
¿Cómo voy a
Was Stanley
hacerlo?
simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
¿Qué weá es
Now,
ahora?
hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
¿Cuándo pasa aquí?
He
No
knew for
entiendo
certain,
nada.
beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too, surely.
Se me quedó parado.
If he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
¿Ya?
He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
Oh.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's
¿Qué es
always
esto,
been.
weón?
My life is normal. I am normal.
Yo soy normie.
Everything will be fine. I am okay.
¿Ya?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
¿Ya?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange
¿Qué? ¿Qué
man.
weá?
He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she
Lol.
remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
No, se remurió el Stanley, weón. What the fuck. ¿Calmado qué? ¿Qué hice, weón? What the fuck? Es un final. Ah, esta weá es como...
All of his
Ya, ya, ya.
coworkers were gone. What could it mean?
O
Stanley
sea...
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
En que son como rutas, supongo, ¿no? Como que Por ejemplo, me dice, ya, ahora voy a la izquierda. Ahora, por ejemplo, me dice que vaya a la sala de reuniones. Supongo. Sí, esta es la sala de reuniones. Y como antes bajé, ahora tengo que subir, pues bueno, ¿no? Por ejemplo.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to
Vale.
the staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vale. Uy, qué miedo en la sala, culiá. ¿Aló?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Oh.
What he could not have known was that the keypad
Era el
behind the
teclado
boss's
detrás del
desk
escritorio escondido de la
guarded the
terrible verdad
terrible
de su
truth
jefe.
that his boss had
Este.
been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin
Vale.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing the buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
Dale.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Dale. Oh, qué miedo, weón. ¿Aló? ¿Aló? ¿Ahora abajo? Supongo. Qué miedo, weón. Botones al azar. Sí, botón al azar. ¿Qué, Dimitrox? Hiciste el final más
Descending deeper into the
improbable.
building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh. Esta weá me recuerda un poco al Portal, weón. No sé por qué. Como los espacios, el
Stanley walked straight
silencio.
ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nada, sigamos lo normal. Sigamos lo normal. Por ahora. ¿Usa el engine de Portal? ¿En serio? Ah, bacán. ¿Aló? What? What? ¿Ya lo jugaste? No, nunca he jugado esta weá.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Vale, me voy entonces, pues weón, supongo.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, vale. Entonces, vale, me voy por escape nomás, weón.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Había una puerta, no había cachado. ¿Había una puerta atrás? ¿Cuál puerta? ¿Había una puerta? ¿Qué? No caché. Weón decía como... No había cachado que había una puerta y no sé qué... No caché bien, weón. Es para volver, gilipollas. Ah. Consigue tu primer logro. ¿Por qué me dieron ese logro? No puedo saltar. Ah, intenté saltar. Re tonto. Apreté el
At
espacio.
this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Paso nomás, supongo, ¿no? ¿Y si vuelvo? No sé qué... Ah, no, pero, calmado. El Superliminal tal vez es parecido a este. Sí, pues el Superliminal... Bueno, el Superliminal lo jugué el 2020, me acuerdo, weón. No sé si volver, weón. Y si me tiro, weón, para cachar qué weá pasa, ya vamos a matarnos, chat. En nuestro momento, vamos. Hemos esperado mucho tiempo para esto. ¡Adiós! ¡Ah! RIP. ¡Uy! What? What?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is.
Yeah?
Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Ay, no, no quiero morir.
Farewell, Stanley.
No! No! Oh!
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Conchetumare, me asusté, weón. What?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance,
What the fuck?
death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh. Oh. Qué weá. Comentario culiado que se tiró la mina, weón. Computadora de Stanley. No vamos a hacer nada acá. Hoy te muestran toda la oficina el weón. Archivadores. Computadoras de la oficina. ¡No, el solitario! Re antiguo, weón. Créditos. Sonidos de botones. What? Selección de los sonidos que se utilizan en el juego cuando se oprimen botones. En cada uno de ellos se combina un tono sintetizado con el sonido de que produce presionar un teclado. La oficina. What the fuck? Encuentra el patrón. Sí, eso mismo estaba preguntando. ¿Qué pasa si hay algo acá? Siento que hay algo, bueno, ¿no? Estaba cambiando, ¿qué wea? Este cambia. Este es como el Portal. No sé, no sé si hay algo que hacer ahí, weón. Creo que no, supongo. Reloj de la oficina. Oh. ¿Qué es esto, weón? La sala de empleados, zona subterránea. ¿Vale? ¿Qué es esto? Tomas de narración descartadas. Kevin Bregning, la voz del narrador, grabó el diálogo de todo el juego en 3 momentos diferentes a lo largo de 2 años de desarrollo. Aquí hay tomas iniciales que no se utilizaron en el juego final. Qué wea. Chao, te que esté bien, weón. Descansa. Ya. Final de la libertad. La versión alfa del juego. Oh. Pero esto es como un museo, weón. ¿Qué weá? What? Sí. Debe haber algo por acá, weón. Aparte de eso. Por aquí volvimos, ¿no? A la parte de antes, ¿no? ¿Weón está arriba acá? ¿Qué es esto? El cronómetro del apartamento. LOL. La weá de los backrooms. ¿Qué una carta? Correo electrónicos al narrador. Ya la wea loca, weón. No sé, está re interesante esa wea, weón. ¿Viste esta wea? ¿Qué cosa? Sí, lo del Moai. Sí, no sé. Está enamorado de mí, parece el Moai, weón. Oficina de Stanley. Oh. Vale. Supongo que nos vamos, pues bueno, no hay nada acá. Para mí que es el final de los finales. Vale, nos vamos nomás, pues weón.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Oye, juego culiado, what the fuck. Es como muy... Es muy... Tiene mucha weá, what the fuck, weón.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply...
Bueno, ¿no puedo abrir puertas? Pregunta. No, no puedo. No hiciste lo que te dijo.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
¿Y qué pasa si me salgo ahora?
on his left.
Tenía que apretar escape.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to
Siento que hay
admire it.
mucha weá, weón. No se puede hacer nada acá, ¿cierto?
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley
¡Qué weá! Me da una sensación rara esta parte, weón. Chao, Gabo, weón. Que te vengo, weón. Descansa. Me da algo esta parte, weón. Me da como una sensación muy rara, weón.
Yes, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No sé. No lo sé. Ya me voy por acá.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
What? No, me voy a la mierda. Voy a ir por acá, weón. Supongo. ¡No! Me trajeron para acá de nuevo, la puta madre. ¿No puedo seguir de acá? No, me trajeron para acá, weón. No te creo. ¿No puedo abrir la puerta? No, no puedo, weón.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he... Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Aquí debe haber algo, supongo, por algo se abrió esta puerta.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
No, debe haber algo, weón.
Still be here.
No me queda FK, sí la cagó, weón. ¿Me quedo?
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Me va a quedar, me da lo mismo. Que te jodan.
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Sí,
Standing around doing nothing?
sí.
Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
No. No va a quedar acá nomás, weón, me da lo mismo.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, At least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out.
Bueno, dale, ¿cómo te
Clear
ven?
to me, because literally, this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story
Me da lo mismo.
whatsoever.
Me da lo
I never
mismo.
would have thought to mention it.
Me da lo mismo, me voy a quedar acá. No voy a hacer nada. Me voy a quedar acá nomás. No estoy ni ahí.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
¿Qué habla? Está re enojado, weón.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Ya, sí, eso es verdad. Sí, eso es verdad. Tengo que decirlo.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
No. No voy a salir. No voy a salir, weón. Me voy a quedar acá nomás. Sonido culiado de esas weas de las luces, weón. Explosión. Explota todo. Después. Ernie, puto. El Ernie, puto. El Ernie es una rubia puta. ¿Cómo era? ¿Qué seguía, weón? La galera es pedófila. Weón, no está pasando nada. Yo cacho que me voy a salir, weón. ¿Me salgo nomás?
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Me voy a quedar acá nomás. A ver si pasa algo. Ahí voy a esperar 10 segundos. A ver, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bueno, creo que no pasa nada más, weón. Ya.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Por aquí. No entré por acá, weón. Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes. If the bosses suffer losses, then that's what the bosses choose. ¿Qué? No entendí nada. Medio trabalengua, weón. No hay nada por acá. No se puede hacer nada. No se puede hacer nada. Hay una wea ahí. No se puede hacer nada, weón. Es una rima. Bueno, vámonos a la chucha. A ver, ¿no puedo abrir acá? Sí se puede. A ver, shh. Pasemos piola, weón. No se puede hacer nada acá, no. Vamos, entremos a la puerta de acá. Vamos. ¿Qué es esa foto? ¿Qué es esa foto, weón? ¡Qué pena! Buena Maya, ¿cómo está ahí? ¿Ahora subimos o bajamos, chat? Voy a subir. Después bajo. Uy, ¿esto? ¿Por qué brilla tanto? Subamos, weón. ¡Ah! Subamos, subamos. Pum, pa, chica, chica, pum, pa, chica, pum, pa, chica, chica, pum, pa, chica, pum, pa, chica, chica, pum, pa, chica, pum, pa. LOL, no está pasando nada. Música genérica de ascensor. ¿Vamos a tocar esta wea? No. Volví, pues bueno, ¿no? What? What? ¿Y si bajo? ¿Ah? Pero no pasa nada entonces en el ascensor. No pasa nada, weón, what? Ya, weón, ¿qué es esta mierda? Ya, a ver si toco el piano.
Stepping into his manager's office,
No se
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley
Esto no era una puerta,
wondered
weón,
aloud.
juraba que era una puerta.
Nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But
Pistas
his
sobre la
attention was
situación.
caught by a keypad behind the
A ver, no,
boss's
pero no
desk.
puedo agarrar nada
What
como...
could its
Esto, por
purpose
ejemplo, como...
be? In fact, this keypad
Decía que agarraba
held a
papeles y
terrible
wea así.
secret that lay buried below
Pero-
his feet. And so the boss had assigned
puedo
it
agarrar
an
algo?
extra secret pin number, 2845. But of
2845.
course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
¿Qué pasa si pongo un número random? Como 11111111.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
¿No pasa nada?
2845.
Sí, ¿qué pasa si lo pongo al revés?
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in.
Oh,
And the door just
conchetumare.
opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
¿What? O sea, ¿se abre igual? ¿Cuál era el número? 2485. ¿Qué pasa si lo pongo ahora? ¿Eh? 2845, ya. ¿Qué pasa si lo pongo ahora? 2 4 8 5. Ah, 2 8, chucha. 2 8 4 5. ¿Ya? No pasa nada. ¿Ya? ¿Y si me voy? No, no puedo salir. Ya, sigamos adelante, pues, weón. No sé si hay otro camino por acá, weón. Por ejemplo, aquí, en vez de bajar, subir. Ah, no, baja igual. Entonces no hay otro camino, pues, weón. No hay otro camino, entonces, por aquí, ¿no?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No, vamos por acá.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh. Sube de nuevo, ahí pasa algo.
The
¿Cómo
door
sube de
behind
nuevo?
him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort
Ya lo
to
hiciste,
walk
sí, po,
forward
pero...
and willingly confront his death.
Hay una weá de que la mina me decía como aprieta escape. Esa weá no lo hice, pero... Por la weá que bajaste el ascensor. ¿Pero puedo volver a subir? A ver. Weón, pasillo culiado re largo, weón. ¿Se puede volver a subir? LOL. LOL. La próxima vez prueba de interactuar más con las cosas de la oficina. Creo que interactué con algunas puertas, weón.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
¿Ya? A ver, subamos.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator
Oh,
and went back
a ver.
up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Oh. A ver. Por favor, que pase algo, weón, a ver. Acá no hay nada, weón, creo, ¿cierto? No, acá no hay nada. Pensé que había como una puerta, weón.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have. An incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Estoy que me como las uñas. El narrador no sabía que Stanley subió para masturbarse a la oficina del jefe. No puedo abrirlo tampoco, ¿no? ¿Cierto? No, no puedo abrirlo. ¿Y si bajo? ¿Y si bajo ahora así como... Chao, voy a bajar.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
A ver.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ahora me devuelvo. A ver.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there.
¿Qué habrá?
Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
Sí, el camino, pero si ya lo hice. El camino del pasillo ya lo hice. Ya, a ver. Si vuelvo acá, ¿me dirá algo? ¿Qué
Oh my
wea?
god. It's the boss's office.
Oh my god.
Changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
Increíble.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
Y si me quedo acá nomás. Tenía que ir a la cuestión de la mente, pero si ya lo hice. Y me mataban, pues, weón.
All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
¿Me quedo? No, yo creo que me voy. A ver. Voy a bajar, a ver qué pasa.
Going back down in the elevator.
Se va a volver loco el
Not
culiao,
anticipated. I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before.
Saludos de
No frame of
Panguipulli.
reference to even
Un
anticipate
saludo,
it.
bro.
That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Weón, me gusta el juego, weón. Está chistoso, está chistoso. ¿Ya a ver, dirá algo?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
No, chao.
Control Facility.
Chau. Oh, creo que se agotaron los diálogos, weón, ¿o no? Ah, no,
You know
espérate.
what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment.
A ver.
Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
Ya.
There we
No.
go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley,
No,
it seems
man.
like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started.
Está picado, está picado.
Where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate, and then to marvel at the eventual reveal? This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most
Sergio,
exciting
te está agarrando al
narrative
hueveo.
to be developed in years, and it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold
Si
step
Mitrox fuera
of
pendejo.
revisiting the exact
Mitrox
same
fuera
locations
pendejo.
over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it.
Oh,
which
qué
is
miedo
why
esa
we're
parte,
so
weón.
starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you.
La gente te admira.
Which is why, oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your
Cheese.
life.
Gracias,
Yes,
César,
I know
por
you're
lo
not much
Diego,
for the
¿cómo está
public
llamando?
eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you
César,
from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous
Es re
impact
largo,
on them
weón.
for the better. Oh, good, we're here.
¡Oh! Esto es nuevo. ¿Y si bajo? No, no puedo bajar. Esto es nuevo.
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
¿Vale? Stanley. Creo que me hicieron la media weá, a ver. ¿No hay nada por aquí? Es Stanley. Y ese viejo, weón. Superliminal, sí la cagó, weón. Es muy igual al Superliminal. Oye, ¿sabes? ¿Ese juego no tendrá una versión extendida o algo así?
Here it is, just through
Podría
this
volver a
door.
jugarlo, weón. Ese juego de verdad que me gustó caleta cuando lo jugué, weón. Me gustó muchísimo. Lo sabía, weón. Sabía que lo iba a cambiar.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling. And what it means to
427.
craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry. You'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley.
No, me doy la guata, no quiero ir.
It looks like they're ready for you.
No, no quiero ir.
Go get 'em.
427. Weón, creo que ese número ya estaba en otro lado, ¿no? Es el número de tu oficina. Ah, por eso. Oh, Stanley. Tiene 6 años. Story. Thanks for sharing. ¿Qué es esta mierda? Congratulations. Remember where you come from. Your coworkers. Wow. Increíble, creo que voy a tener que ir, pues, weón, porque no pasa nada acá. Voy ahora, weón. Ay, estoy nervioso, weón. No quiero dar esa charla, weón. Ah, ya. 3. Ya, estoy tranquilo, weón, vamos. Oh. Gracias. Muchas gracias. ¡Ah! ¿Qué weá? ¡Oh! Avanzamos. Pregunta, chat. ¿Hay alguna forma de saber como los finales que he sacado? Tipo como en el Please Don't Touch Anything. Que por ejemplo, no sé, pues saqué uno, se marca aquí, o weá así, ¿no? Y salía los botones del ascensor, sí.
What could it mean?
Ya, entonces, a ver,
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
aquí debe haber alguna wea. Hay que buscar alguna cosa, weón. Tipo... Si se puede interactuar con algo,
No
¿no?
matter how hard Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
No hay nada, weón. ¡Oh! Este PC está prendido, weón, calmado. Este PC está prendido. ¿Ya? Vale. Weón, por lo menos sé que ya el PC se puede apagar. Creo. ¿Esta weón se abrió? Tengo sueño que la perra. Adiós. Chao, Fictu, que te vengo. Descansa, weón. Ya sé que se puede apagar una weá. Y creo que esto se movió. Creo, no sé. Voy a avanzar, weón. No hay nada que hacer acá. Por aquí tampoco. Ya, otro PC. Por aquí tampoco. No hay nada acá. No, tampoco. Aquí no se puede abrir. Aquí tampoco. Awaiting input. Input received. ¿Ya? What? Input received. ¿No puedo poner un número o algo así? La 420. la oficina bacán. Weón, dice input received, pero no sé si se puede hacer algo, weón. La oficina bacán, la 420. No, creo que no, weón. Aprieta la puerta 430. La 430. No, pero no me digan, weón. No me digan. Quiero descubrir las weas solo, weón. Creo que no se puede hacer nada más, weón. ¿Me voy entonces? No sé, aquí dice input received, pero no sé si se puede hacer algo, weón. Creo. 417. LOL. Se va a cerrar esa puerta, ¿no? Nada acá.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Se me había olvidado que tenía el stream y me asustó viendo eso de aquí. ¡Ah! Creo que no hay nada más. A ver, espérense. A la derecha estaba la weá del jefe, creo, ¿no? Debería ir por la izquierda, weón, ¿o no? Creo. Follow it. ¿Qué pasa, weón? No funciona con un weón. Ya, vamos. 413. 412. Dejo para la izquierda. Derecha. ¡Ah, verdad, weón! Ya, hagámoslo rápido, espérate, empezar de cero. Espérate, empezar de cero no afecta en nada, ¿cierto? Tipo, en algún progreso, algo así. No afecta, dale, vamos. Ya, a ver, vamos. Go.
All of his co-workers were gone. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes,
Ya, a ver.
almost certainly 50 clicks. No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
¿Lo hacemos, chat? Dale, weón, vamos. Era 417, pero no que eran 417 clics. Es la 417, chucha. Yo pensé que eran 417 clics, weón. 417, debe estar por allá, weón. What? Acá está. ¿Ya?
Great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
437. Esa debe estar acá. 437, acá está.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
415. Leí re mal, weón. Yo había leído como hace 417 clics.
Now, back to door number 437.
¿Por qué se buguea, weón? Era la 437, ¿cierto? 425. 437.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine. All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Dale, weón, 417.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
419, conche tu madre, ¿cuál es la 419? 419, este.
Yes, this is great. You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
416. 416 está acá, creo. Vamos, weón, se logra, se logra.
We've almost got it. Now the copy machine, do that one again.
Se recortaba. A ver, dale, weón.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 clicks on door 430.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking?
La wea random. Bueno, sigamos, pues, weón. Weón, acá hay una wea que yo no estoy entendiendo. Lo del computadora de acá, que... Oh, what? Oh, cambió para acá. Awaiting input. What the fuck? Oh. What? ¿Por qué está lloviendo acá afuera? A ver, apaguemos todo. A ver. Apaguemos todo, apaguemos todo, apaguemos todo. No, no hay nada por aquí, ¿cierto? No, ya, devolvámonos, vamos. Creo que hay que hacerlo todo el rato, ¿cierto? No. No, 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 hay que hacerlo todo el rato, creo. Ya, entonces vamos por... vamos por la derecha, entonces, vamos, vamos, go, 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 go. A ver.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
Salió un poco,
well.
¿no? No.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Vamos por aquí, no hay nada, no hay nada por acá, no hay nada por acá. No hay nada por acá, creo, no hay nada por acá, no hay nada por acá, no hay nada por aquí. No hay nada por aquí.
Wow. Yes. This
Por aquí
room.
siento que hay algo.
What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible
fuck?
even to consider.
¿No hay nada aquí para hacer? No, no hay nada aquí. Aquí tampoco, ¿no?
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
¿Y si me siento no me puedo sentar? Quédate ahí, sí, 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 sí. Estoy viendo qué pasa,
At this
weón.
point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
¿Por qué?
It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Bueno, no sé por qué siento que esta parte me recuerda como alguna weá en el que ella ha estado cuando chico.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
No, me voy a quedar acá. Me voy a quedar aquí nomás. Me voy a hacer un café, de hecho. ¡Oh! ¿Me puedo agachar? No me deja antes, creo. No, sí, pues. Sí, se me deja. Pero no me deja saltar, weón. Es que Mitrox, tú eres Stanley. No hay nada más para hacer, weón. Así como... ¿Y si me quedo acá como tocando las pinturas? No, no se puede hacer nada. ¿Y el reloj? No, no se puede hacer nada acá. Aquí tampoco. Creo que no hay nada más que hacer, weón. No, creo que no hay nada más que hacer. ¿Me voy? Supongo. Supongo, o sea, no... No, me voy. Chao, me voy. A la chucha.
But
Lol.
at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Vale, por acá no hay nada, por aquí tampoco. Y por acá... No vine para acá, ¿cierto? No, por acá no vine. Esta parte es nueva, a ver. Vale.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Vale. You're lying right now, stop. Qué miedo esta parte, weón. ¿Qué weá? Penalty for misuse of cargo lift. Penalty for jumping on the cargo lift. ¿Y si me tiro? ¿Me puedo tirar, creo, weón? No, espérate. ¿Puedo abrir la puerta? No, no puedo hacer nada acá. Bueno, avanzado, ¿cómo estoy, weón? Por aquí no hay nada. ¿Puedo avanzar por acá?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please. What? Really? I'm in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for
No,
others?
chúpalo.
Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
No. No te voy a dar ni una chance, conchetumadre. Ni una chance, weón. A ver, no hay nada para hacer acá. ¿Una caja o algo así? No, creo que no. No hay nada acá. Me voy a la mierda. ¿Por acá? Qué miedo, weón. Cargo. 2v3. No hay nada por aquí. Por aquí tampoco. 2v4, 2v5. Nada
Now
acá.
listen carefully, this is important.
Oh.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Pasemos por la roja primero. Después la paso por la azul. Después paso por la azul, vamos.
Thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now.
Ay,
Don't
no,
you see that
weón.
it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Oh. No, ¿y si lo paso? No, creo que hay que pasar, weón. Oh, ¿me va a matar este conche tu madre? Ah, no.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Oh. ¿Qué weá? Me quedé pegado viendo esta weá. Me quedé pegado viendo esta mierda. ¿Y si me tiro? ¡Hoy está re bonito! ¿Qué weá? ¿Y si me tiro por acá, weón?
No, wait. Where are you going?
Me va la chucha, chavo.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
No, chao. ¿Y por qué me voy a morir?
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
No, pobrecito.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Chao, me voy a la mierda.
No! Oh, thank God.
No,
You
chao.
lived. No. What are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Porque odio mi mundo.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
No.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game?
No.
You'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
No, qué pena. Chao.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all.
No,
Well, this one
pobrecito,
is
weón.
yours.
Pobre sujeto, weón. Chao.
Is it over?
Morí.
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
No, qué pena ese final, weón. Final culiado, dio mucha pena, qué weá.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Aquí está la de acá, ¿no? Y falta un computador, creo que por acá. Querés malo. No estoy ni con el
No
narrador.
matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Oye, ¿dónde está el otro PC? ¿Qué weá? El del input no sé qué chucha. Weón, ¿no está? What?
When Stanley came to a set of two
Vamos por
open
acá.
doors, this was not the correct way.
Vamos por aquí,
to
vamos por
meet
aquí,
him,
vamos por aquí.
and Stanley knew
¿Qué habláis?
perfectly
El
well.
del
Perhaps he
PC
wanted to
que
stop
decía
by the employee
input,
lounge
no
first,
sé qué
just
mierda.
to admire it.
¿Es de Google esto? ¿Es
The
nada que ver?
lounge
No,
was
nada que ver.
sublime, a work of art.
Es un juego...
But
No
eager to
sé,
get
weón,
back
en
to
verdad.
business,
¿Qué
Stanley
podría
took
decirse?
the
¿Qué
first
tipo de
open
juego
door
es
on
este,
his
weón?
left.
No sé, está bueno, weón. Es
Stanley
como que
was
te
so bad at
cuenta...
following directions,
Es
it's
como
incredible
de
he wasn't
tomar
5
decisiones,
years
tal
ago.
vez. Y como que cada decisión te lleva a un
Look,
lado
Stanley,
diferente.
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
A ver, ahora
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
me voy a tirar acá.
Someone you forgot.
Me voy a tirar acá.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you
Voy a entrar en el
that
azul.
convinced that I want something
A ver
bad
qué
to
pasa.
happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
Un juego
Let
narrativo.
me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Paso por la azul.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
What?
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't...
No, me voy a devolver ahora. Así como... Me voy a devolver. No me puedo devolver. Así como para... No, no puedo. Ya, volvamos. Mejor muerto que rojo. Y el rojo está a la izquierda encima, weón. Resicoseado con la wea.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first
Son las
place.
texturas
Broken rooms,
de esta wea, ¿o no?
developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
No.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
1.
A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Oh, qué wea. The Stanley Parable Worldwide Leaderboard. Oh, calmado, ¿esto es real? Weón, calmado, ¿esto es tiempo real? ¿O algo así? This is you. Estoy en la caca. No, ahí está ahí. Estoy en la mierda. No creo. Igual puede ser real, weón, ¿o no? Why not ask for some friends for help? Error, friend list is empty. No, friend list empty. Tengo la lista de amigos vacía, no. ¿Y si me voy por la derecha, no? Ay, hay caleta de opciones acá, weón.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Oh?
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button
Sure,
to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life.
¿Qué es
I think
esto?
the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Conchetumare. ¿Y si pierdo?
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Oh. ¿Van a reiniciar el juego? LOL, está buena esta weá, weón. Oh, ¿y esto?
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below
El
you
Firewatch.
from up high in your creep tower. Perhaps for some sort
Esta no
of
es la weá
twisted
donde el Alex
logic
el Capo
to
dice
this.
pipo, pipo.
Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Y ese sonido del Minecraft, weón. LOL. Cookbook. What? Hay mucha weá, no sé, weón. La weá random, weón. El que viene al juego. Un juego culiado terrible fome. Chucha. Weón, esta weá no es la del... La de cuando el Alex el Capo dice como pipo, 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 popi. Pipo, pipo, pi. Pipo, popi. Contigo, pipo, 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 popi. Popi, pipo. Hoy me acordé de un juego, no me acuerdo cómo se llama, weón.
Oh no. No, it can't be.
La weá random, weón, ¿por qué estoy acá?
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it.
Oh,
Out of the
beef.
woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
El meo bífalo open world, weón.
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
LOL. Mitrox sería muy de pana. Nah.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Está toda la wea Rocket League.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Conche tu madre. Está re lejos, weón. Mitrox, eres muy homosexual. ¡Oh! ¡Voy re lejos! ¡Voy re rápido! ¡Voy re rápido! A ver. ¡Oh! Ya, chat, vamos, vamos, vamos. Un gol, un gol, un gol, un gol, un gol. ¡Gol!
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought, and I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball.
Ya, ahí viene otra pelota, vamos.
Yes. Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it?
FIFA be like.
I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls.
Conche tu madre. Vamos, weón, gol, 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 gol. Metamos todas las pelotas en el arco, weón. ¡Golazo! ¡Ah!
What are you doing?
No, conche tu madre.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Oh. Qué miedo, weón. ¡No! ¿Qué weá? ¿Aló? Oh, qué miedo, culiao, qué weá. No se ve nada. Oh, weón, qué miedo esta weá. Eso es lo que hay debajo de la cancha del Rocket League, sí. Hay oficinas. Wey, luz. Weón, qué miedo, qué weá. La 427, esta es mi oficina. O sea. Ah, supongo que este es el final. ¿O no? No, aquí está, wea. No puedo hacer nada, creo. What? Los backrooms del diseño son con Source. Weón, yo siento que el Source de repente te...
I wonder what he found.
What?
If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back.
Ooh.
The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Qué wea returbio. Returbio, weón. What the fuck. Y volvimos, weón. Oye, pero lo del Rocket League supongo que igual seguía, weón, ¿o no? O hay
All of
más
his
caminos.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
No sé, muy
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
muy raro, weón, no sé.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a
Baila
single
tu cuerpo,
difference.
alegría, Macarena.
Nor did it
Vamos a ver.
advance the story in any way.
Oye, weón, antes había un computador que decía como input, no sé qué chucha. Ahora ya no está, weón. No sé por qué. Oh. ¿Y esto?
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Faltaba un juego. ¿No puedo pasar para allá? ¿Por qué no puedo pasar para allá? New content, nuevo contenido. ¡Oh! ¡Hay contenido! Nuevo contenido, use chatting.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Oh.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Wow.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Yo no. Estoy enojado. ¿Cómo conchetumare conocen cada juego que juega el
So
litro?
far, it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure
Okay,
it's
okay,
just the
hay
beginning
alguien
of
que
a
conozca todo eso.
mesmerizing adventure.
¿Y ahora? ¿Aló?
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere? Or, oh, there we go. All right.
001 conoce.
Long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
¡Contenido nuevo!
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if, oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
A ver. The Jump Circle.
All right.
Wow.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
¡Oh! ¡Se puede saltar! ¡Ay, esto se gasta! Lo gasto, po. Wow. ¿Ya?
Is that it? Surely.
Uy,
that's
¿algo
not
ya
all
o no?
the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Qué miedo estas partes que no tienen nada, weón. Que son como vacíos, weón. Me da miedo, weón.
Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could
Me da
count
miedo
to
el tipo que
30
mira
trillion.
mi
You could
ventana
put that
mientras
on the
duermo.
box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good.
Oh,
yes.
a ver.
I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Vale.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me, is it, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality
Ignóralo.
assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
¿Y si lo ignoro?
No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always.
No, lo voy a
What do
ignorar.
you say, friend?
Buena carta, ¿cómo estás, weón? Ay, ¡no! Se reinició solo, pensé que daba otra. ¿What? ¿Y esto? Estresada y tú. Bueno, te pones. Quería probar este juego, weón. Está re bueno. ¿What? ¿Y esto? Conche tu madre, me re mareé, weón, con la foto, weón. Se ve muy raro cómo se expande, weón. Dale, vamos.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
No, chao. Oh, espérate.
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
Siento que por ahí voy a volver, weón.
Oh,
¿Y si,
never mind. You're not a dork.
y si lo hueveo? ¿Y si lo hueveo? A ver. En mi idea las plantas de ese juego son iguales a las del Gmod. Bueno, de hecho, dijeron que era como del mismo... ¿Cómo se llama? Ay, se me olvidó el nombre, weón. ¿Motor gráfico? ¿Es Source este juego, no? A ver. ¡Uah! Saca la chucha. Bueno, está chistoso el juego, weón. Me está gustando caleta, weón. Me está gustando un montón. Vamos. ¿Y esto?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our
Yeah.
little secret. Take a look.
A ver.
I call it the Memory Zone.
¿Qué es esto?
It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
No receipt memory.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally
Sí, sí recuerdo.
Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Independent Games Festival. ¿Y esta wea? ¿Estos son los logros que ganó? Indie Box Collector Edition. ¿Esta wea existía? Hoy la hora está mal. La hora está mal. A ver, Esta weá debe ser el 2013 o el 2013, una weá así. Good Times. Oh, qué recuerdos. Es la hora de Estados Unidos. Está ahí en el asado, pues, weón, enchúfate. En el pasado. Creo que se equivocaba en escribir 1000 veces. Smile because it happened. El disco de música, $1. ¿Por qué? Demonstration. Don't play for 5 years. Imposible de conseguir este archivo. O sea, este archivo, nada que ver, este logro. Este archivo, nada que ver. Así, textual, weón. Nominación. Calmado, ¿esto es real? New video game releasing today. ¿Esto es real, weón? Stanley Parable deals low choices. De Los Ángeles Times. Oh, la weá bacán, weón. No. Supongo que era como la mascota de los desarrolladores, bueno, ¿no? Hay un piano ahí.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable
Increíble,
was.
una crítica.
It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Increíble. El juego se volvió una basura, man. Y ahora... A ver. Lo bueno es que ponen caleta de detalle, weón. Lea lo que dice el chat. Si hubiera sido real, debieron crear esta parte del juego después. ¿Cómo? La persona del año. LOL. Weón, re grande esta parte culiada de la casa, weón. Qué hueá la media casa, weón. ¿Cómo? Your number is 29. Increíble.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
No. ¿Y ahora qué? Weón, pero no puedo saltar. ¿Cómo pasó allá, weón? Calmado, no tenéis salto. No. Encontré el artículo del diario de Los Ángeles, el editor le gustó. ¿En serio? What the fuck. Pero se supone que tenía que saltar como...
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again.
¿Y si vuelvo? Oh, ¿por acá?
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
Oh.
What's this? What's down here?
Steam reviews.
No. Oh, God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game business. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here.
Oh,
Surely
de
these
haber pura
reviews were
mierda.
going as well, weren't they?
No, ¿esta wea será real?
Honestly, I could not be bothered.
O sea,
to play
tipo,
this game to
será
full completion.
Buglidia.
The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could
Es
write
real,
up
yo
a
busqué el
handful of
perfil.
gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Qué weá, Buglidia, nombre culiado. Está re bueno, weón. A ver, no hay nada por acá, ¿cierto? No, no hay nada aquí. No, no hay nada. Ya, vamos por acá, weón.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy,
Pero,
am I?
weón.
You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always
la
thought of the
idea,
game's
weón.
dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear.
Weón, re
What
tonto.
an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel
Conche tu madre.
like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Oh. No, a ver. ¿Qué irá este, weón?
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button?
Weón.
Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Weón, reseñas culiadas que hace la gente en Steam, weón. De repente son re imbéciles, weón.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you
¿No hay
forward
alguna
in
wea
time
atrás?
so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you,
Una escalera.
with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right
Apágalo.
past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet.
La review.
No, until
Bueno, calma, espérate.
240.
¿De verdad existe? I get supposed to be a bro. Something about listening to...
That the logic of elimination working
Se cambió el nombre,
the
culiao,
deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say... The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is,
¿Qué hablas
so
tú,
on and
weón?
so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible
Deja de un
to
juego que sea tu
manufacture.
perfil de
It went
Steam.
on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than
Bueno, ahí,
forever
¿cómo te ven?
ago? Which is why I say...
the story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah 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 blah.
Se está repitiendo.
Blah, 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't
Sí,
be
se está
just
repitiendo.
yet. No, until...
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and
Cagaste, ¿por
more
qué?
of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a
Ya,
series...
cállate.
Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's... Well, Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back.
Oh.
I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks.
A ver.
I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing.
Cállate.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had
Ya,
so
shut up. ¿Murió? Oh, está remuerto. Lo maté. Ya no existe el weón, ya no habla. No, se remurió, weón. Conche tu madre. ¡Ah! ¡Qué weá!
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little...
Cállate. Revivió. Hola Mitrox, hola Dani, ¿cómo estáis? ¿Y ahora?
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
What the fuck?
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never.
Bueno, está empezando a caer agua acá. ¡Oh! ¡Se cayó la weá! ¡Oh! Conche tu madre, what the fuck. Necesito contexto del juego por la chucha. Nada. Es un juego de caminar y apretar cosas y tomar decisiones de qué camino tomar, weón. ¡Oh! Está empezando a crecer. ¿Qué weá? Portal 2. Uy, está re bonito. Ya, siguiente, vamos. No, murió todo, weón. fuck? Oh, sonidos culiados, qué weá. A ver. ¿Cagó el botón? Weón, ¿cuánto tiempo habría avanzado? Oh. No, conchetumare, me trajeron a Arica, weón. Qué horrible, culiao, no, qué paja, weón. De todos los lugares posibles me trajeron esta mierda, weón. De ciudad. La weá asquerosa, weón. El peor final. Bad ending. Este es realmente el bad ending, weón. Ya la weá fea. Bueno, la única weá cercana que me queda es Perú, weón. Así que voy a tener que ir para allá, weón. Supongo. Calama. ¿Eso fue? Me estoy weando. Weón, fue re bacán esa parte igual, weón. Estuvo re brígido, weón. Puedo ver si no está ilegal. Pucha, el Dracu perdió 200k. ¿Cómo 200k? No. Te moriste de insolación. Buena, Camilo, ¿cómo estás, weón?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
A ver, ¿qué otra weá me falta?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Todavía me
simply
falta ir
missed
por la
a
derecha,
memo.
creo. Al final de los juegos faltaba uno. No, hagamos los normales primero, hagamos los normales. ¿Y esta parte? ¿Esta parte no estaba o sí? Bueno, estos pasillos son nuevos. What?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, vamos por la derecha,
This
weón.
was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
A ver,
Standing now in this incredible room,
¿qué nos falta?
Stanley for
La...
the first,
Espérate.
but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Tomamos, ¿qué tomamos, weón? ¡No! ¡Hubo covers, hermano! ¿Cómo estás, weón? Gracias por ese raid, weón. Bienvenido a las 6 personas, ¿cómo están? Weón, tanto tiempo, weón. ¿Cómo estás, hermano? ¿Qué cuentas? ¿Qué están haciendo? ¿Qué onda, weón? Estamos jugando Stanley Parable. Es la primera vez que toco este juego, weón. Y está re chistoso, weón. Está re pillola, weón. A ver, podría tirarme ahora.
Stanley, I think perhaps, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Ya se fueron.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Listo. Saqué ese final al menos, weón. Nice.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Siguen
he
aquí,
had simply
gente.
missed a memo.
¿Por qué? ¿Qué tiene? ¿Qué tiene? Suelta su stream, Rey. Nah, gracias,
When
hermano.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
sé que soy
this was
streamer,
not
hermano.
the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt
Ahora soy un
lightheaded,
perro.
butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business,
Ya con
Stanley
furro.
took the first open door on
Melo.
his left.
¿Qué me falta? A
Stanley was
ver,
so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
a ver, ya nos tiramos. Deberíamos...
Look, Stanley, I think
Falta el de los
perhaps
juegos,
we've
que era por
gotten
acá,
off on
¿no?
the wrong
Era
foot.
el...
I'm not sure.
Ya, voy a tener que hacer ese camino de nuevo, weón.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that
Y
the
falta ir
story
para
has
allá
been
también.
about nothing
No hemos
but
tomado
you
ese camino para allá,
all
weón.
this time.
Podré pasar
There's
como para allá.
someone you-
Soy buenísimo.
Really?
Ya, nice, vamos.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero
Hola, Mitrox.
consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Me voy por la azul.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the
Me llamo
red
Bruno.
door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Hola, Bruno.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Ya, era por acá, ¿cierto? Sí,
You
po,
see,
era por aquí.
there's
Bueno, esta
nothing
parte
here.
me gusta. Me gusta
Haven't
esa
even
weá de los
finished
escenarios
building
como
this section of the
gigante,
map
weón. No sé por
Because
qué.
you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
Hola.
Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into it? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Take a step in the dark as you desire. Give me some feedback.
¡No! No sé por qué siento que la nuke
Already
sonaba muy
feels
fuerte,
leaps
weón.
ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
¿Tomo la puerta nueva o no? Ah, me traía para acá
I'm
igual.
going to stop
Ya,
you
super.
there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
¿Le doy un 5 ahora? ¿O un 1? Si le pongo un 5, ¿me saldrá otro
I mean, I can
final?
understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that?
Pero bueno, no.
But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly
Buena, Mitrox, sos un grosso.
I think I've knocked it out of the park with this
Como el
one.
chicle.
Let's take a look.
Muchas gracias, bro. Espérate. Muy grosso. Vale.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Un 1, una mierda.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him
menos
back
dos
to the
grados
right,
en mi
and
pieza
if he
aquí,
reaches
weá,
the
weón.
fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the
¿Qué pasa si le
desperation
doy
and
ahora
endlessly
al botón?
confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective?
Conche
Be
tu madre, a
sure to
ver.
keep notes on your experience.
Mantén la weá, no me deja mantenerlo. Ta, 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 ta. No pasa nada, o sea, supongo que debe haber un final. Qué desagradable ese sonido. Es que supongo que debe haber un final donde sí o sí tengo que estar como 4 horas apretando este botón, ¿o no? ¿Sale su extensible chat haciendo esta weá? No, ya matemos a la guagua. ¡Muérete, pendejo culiao! ¡Muérete!
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Okay,
Vale.
since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
¿Cuál juego será? ¡Oh my god! ¡Qué raro! No recuerdo haber visto este juego.
What do you think this game is
¿Ustedes se
about,
acuerdan,
Stanley?
chat? Yo no.
What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower. Perhaps
¡Ábrame la puerta, carajo!
erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it.
Clortox.
What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Pipo, popi. Contigo, Pipo. Ya vamos. Pipo. Como el meme de mi youtuber favorito, Alex el Capo. Oh my god.
No, it can't be.
Ya vamos.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it.
Bueno, sigo pensando que este beef, weón, está re bueno.
I'm going to get us out
Fuera,
of here.
weón.
Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
¿Qué sería si el Mitrox se llamara Motrox?
Okay, I think
Suena
this
feo,
will be
Motrox.
just the thing.
Y Mitrox también. Oh my god, Rocket League!
Wonderful.
Oh my
See, this is
god!
exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any
Lo peor es
possibility
que se
you
ve
will
re
get
bien, weón.
lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Ta, tara, ta, tara, tara. Me da risa que, weón, pide caleta este mapa
Okay,
culiado,
so
ese
what
re chico,
exactly
weón.
do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here.
Ya agaché esa talla de los
It's
autos, weón.
sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun.
¿Cómo se llama
We
el
shall run the
Nitros?
bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must.
Y después son
Okay,
dos botones
Stanley,
por un
here's the
perro.
ball.
Oh,
Have
qué
fun.
paja, weón. Ya vamos. Metamos un gol, chat, vamos. What? ¿Por qué no se mueve? Ahí está. ¡Vamos, weón! ¡Golazo! ¡Ahí viene!
Are you doing it? Are you
No,
winning?
se mete
Is
sola.
this
Pico.
fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I
Well,
realize I'm
well.
not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw...
La bandera de Chile está
pleasure,
atrás.
then surely multiple balls
Guarda, estoy
make
arriba,
for an
weón.
even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out.
Conche
Here
tu
comes
madre.
another ball. Yes. Oh goodness, that really does
Ahí va.
feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley,
Let's
I'm
go.
like a girl in a confectionery shop.
¡CHI!
To have more. I'm insatiable.
Gracias.
More balls.
Es Texas. Pero vuela. Vamos, entra. Bueno, y tengo que meter todas las pelotas.
Stanley, you having fun? Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over.
No.
That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I am structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See you like it.
Ah, shut up.
Inventive kid, you'll come up with something. After all, you're someone who knows best. Take care, Stanley.
Vale, gracias. ¿Qué hacemos, weón? Algo me dijo el narrador, pero no presté atención, weón.
Zorra.
¿Qué me dijo el narrador, weón? ¿Alguien cachó? ¿Alguien leyó? Eso dijo zorra. Lo logramos próximamente, canjeas de 100 lucas. ¿Me tiro ahora o qué wea? Porque como que no hay nada que hacer. Se enojó y se fue. No. Entonces, es que no presté atención a lo que decía, weón. Tírate. ¿Qué mierda hago, weón? ¿Aló? ¿Aló? Suicídate, pero es que si me tiro no pasará algo tipo... A ver, voy. Ya me tiro. 1, 2, 3. Chao.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come.
Weón, pero aquí vuelvo para acá y acá... A ver, espérate. Aquí me voy a caer nomás, pues, weón, de nuevo, supongo. Se supone que faltaba un juego, ¿no? A ver, ¿y si le subo el brillo? ¿No hay brillo acá? Presentación. Ah, puedo seguir bajando. Ah, no, pero acá no. Hola. Hola, Título, lo quiero mucho. Muchas gracias. Yo igual te quiero mucho. No hay nada que hacer, pues, weón. O sea... Cagué, pues, weón. No sé si puedo pasar por alguna parte. Aquí está como... Aquí me caigo, weón, sí o sí. ¿Qué hago, weón? ¿Qué mierda hago? Ayer, no, creo que me voy a tener que matar, weón. No puedo hacer nada. Literal, me dijeron que faltaba un juego, pero no caché que weón. Me voy a tener que matar. Suena razonable. Y aquí no sí que chucha hay, weón. Aquí... no sé, weón. Aquí debe haber otro camino, supongo, ¿no? A ver, ¿aló? No hay nada acá, weón. Nada, así se veía el modo original para el Half-Life 2. ¿Este? Era un mod de Half-Life. ¿Me estoy weando de verdad? No sabía eso, weón. Oh, la wea bacán, weón. Bueno, no sabía que era un mod de Half-Life, de verdad. Nunca supe esa wea. Y era literalmente lo mismo, tipo tomar decisión y wea así. No, creo que voy a tener que volver por la parte de antes, weón. Pero si literal era el mod de Half-Life 2, el nuevo contenido era literal lo nuevo. Literal. Listo, ahora paso por acá, aprieto todo y me voy. Weón, literal, ya se le quedó pegada la palabra. Weón, hice todo lo de la parte anterior, weón. No saqué ningún final nuevo.
Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy
Me dijeron que hiciera la weá de nuevo.
He'll
Y
understand
no,
soon what I was trying to tell
no hay
him.
nada, weón.
He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of
Ah,
the
no hay más
chaos
juegos
and
mientras antes los
fear
juegos
and
eran Portal
confusion.
Minecraft, pero en esta
That's
versión lo
right.
sacaron. Ah, vale,
That is
vale,
what
vale,
I
vale.
mean to this world. Oh, yeah.
Literal no hiciste.
Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way.
Vale, literal no lo hice. Vale, gracias. No sabía eso, weón. Ya
The
vamos.
end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Dale, la puta madre. Vale, entonces creo que ahora debería sacar el... Concha tu madre, ¿qué pasó? Ahí está. Debería sacar el de seguir el otro camino, weón.
This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
¿Ah? ¿Qué dijo? La puerta roja la hiciste, ¿sí? Decía que esta no era mi oficina. ¿Qué te dijo? Me dijo... Ah, me pica la nariz. Vaya tío leyendas, weón. Pero puta que uno pasa rabia en esta weá, ¿por qué? LOL. Dijo que te picaba la nariz, sí. Ya vamos por acá. Nos falta una parte de aquí, weón.
And Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic. Perhaps but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Falta botón de skip. Oye, aquí también hay otro camino, weón. A ver, tomemos el camino que nos falta acá, weón.
Following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize
falta el camino de allá,
investing your
weón.
trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
Por eso el literal, o sea, ya se le quedó pegada la palabra literal, weón.
I'm not asking for me. I'm asking. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
No hay nada acá, ¿cierto?
To put
No.
your work aside.
Estúpido
To let
rebaño.
her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Vale. Uy, qué miedo. Concha, tu madre me resusté, weón.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her.
¿Quién será?
If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
¿Y si no contesto? ¿Y si la desconecto? A ver.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another.
Se juran el
Music comes
amor.
in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices?
Literal eso.
What did you...
Eso
Wait a
estaban
second.
haciendo.
Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner?
Literal.
You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous.
Puta la wea,
For
bro.
example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has
Anota
a
el chat.
choice.
Chao,
He
Maki,
could
fue
invent a
que te
machine
digo.
that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make
Hello.
more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling
No.
should subside. At this time,
Puta
your
la
instructor
wea.
will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
No, qué pena, weón.
Welcome back.
Oh.
You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry.
Oh, yeah.
Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
No puedo conectar el teléfono de nuevo, ¿no? No, no puedo. Lo bugueaste. LOL. Después tendría que contestar el teléfono, supongo, ¿no?
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That
Vale.
story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Ok. Vale, perfecto. Entendí perfectamente, vamos. ¿Y tengo que volver ahora? ¿Qué wea? Me cerraron todas las puertas, weón. No puedo hacer nada. La wea bien hecha, weón. Juego culiado.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Vale.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would.
Okay.
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
Vale, perfecto.
Right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Perfecto. Entonces voy a tomar la derecha.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Se está empezando a mover el juego, weón. What the fuck. ¿Qué va ese cuadro? Ya vamos. ¿Y ahora? ¿Qué weá? O sea... Está muy para acá la portada del manga, One Punch Man. A ver. Oh, sí, está re bonito, weón. Oh, no quiero spoilearme, weón, esa weá. No quiero ni spoilearme esa weá. ¿Y ahora qué hago? O sea, ¿tengo que irme por la izquierda? ¿Ahora? ¿No? Supongo. ¿O no?
It's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why?
Está todo hecho mierda.
What did you get out of that?
¿De qué te
What did you
sirvió?
think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do?
La media
If there
cagada,
were a
weón.
way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
Hay dos sillas ahí, weón.
I have to.
Terremoto. ¿Qué weá?
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed.
No,
It was the only thing in
pobrecito,
the world
weón.
that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny?
Sí,
You just had to see?
sí,
Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley?
no.
He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story.
¿Qué weá pasó,
If
weón?
you'd just gone through the
¿Banearon
door on the
un
left, you
spoiler
would have
o
seen
qué
it. There was
pasó?
a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make behave exactly
Oh.
as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
Vale,
All
perfecto.
right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vale.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
Hice todo.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vale, la derecha.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
Vale, ya. Esto es un bucle, weón.
Behave exactly as Stanley would.
Ya, me
That
voy
means
a tener que ir
choosing
por acá, weón.
responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite
Hazle caso al
you'll be
pobre
up to the
weón.
task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
Es un loop.
All right.
Es un loop.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Dale, vamos. ¿Está todo normal? Creo. Uy, ¿está todo normal?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
Se enojó, estaba
office,
re enojado.
hoping he might find an answer there.
Te das cuenta que nunca hiciste lo que te ordena el narrador. Me importa una verga. Este es el closet culiado del...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
¿De qué era el spoiler del juego? No sé, no caché. ¿Y ahora? ¿Me está trayendo para acá de nuevo? Pero... algo debe pasar, supongo, ¿no?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley
¿Y
was
este?
once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley
Te van a
wondered
hacer
in
el amor.
disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And
¿vale?
beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work?
Tiburón
There was
nocturno
only one way
115.
to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Tiburón nocturno 115. No sé si es re tonto. Le hablaba al juego.
Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Le hablaba al juego así. Tiburón nocturno 115. Tiburón nocturno 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial
Inglés,
step.
Nocturnal Shark 115.
Okay, fine. You're not gonna do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you
¿Cómo
for
es en
this
inglés,
one
weón?
single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you,
Nightshark.
then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You...
What?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Oh!
he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay?
Oh, qué weird.
Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is
What?
important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me?
El inframundo la cagó.
That's correct. You can't be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This
Basado
is-
en la obra Stanley Parable del 2013.
I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? You listening to this? Stanley, are you there?
Qué weón, qué turbio cómo se ve el culiado ahí como parado, weón.
You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do.
Qué miedo, weón.
Take as much time as you need.
Quisieron con este juego que la gente lo volvió a jugar. Sacaron la versión Ultra Deluxe. What the fuck, weón. Ya, entonces hicimos el final de la weá de... Espérate, era el final de tirarse por allá. No había más camino allá, ¿cierto? Podemos seguir avanzando por otro lado, ¿no?
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after.
Qué triste el
Stanley
narrador.
thought he would one day see where the...
A ver. Por acá. Vamos. Contesta el teléfono. Ah, verdad, ese final también. No, pero eso lo puedo hacer después, weón. A ver, podríamos... Espérate, no voy a seguir avanzando, espérate. Espérate, hay un final acá, hay un final acá, hay un final
Stanley
acá.
came to a set of two open doors.
Hay otro camino por acá.
The correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Veo la puerta izquierda,
Perhaps he
pero ya
wanted to
hicimos toda la
stop by
parte
the
izquierda, ¿o no?
employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge.
Y el nuevo contenido.
But
Pero si lo puedo
eager
hacer,
to
pues,
get
weón.
back to business, Stanley took the first open
Pero...
door on
Te
his
tiraste la
left.
plataforma, sí, también. A ver, hagamos el de
And
acá.
so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and
Por
got
acá
back
fuimos
on
por
track.
allá. Entonces voy a hacer el de aquí. Me falta este. Vamos. Hazle caso y baja la escalera.
But
¿Qué
Stanley
escalera?
didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, From here, it's, left.
¿Entro? Supongo.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Vale.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now.
Tiene
This story is
573.
absolutely, definitely this way.
Vale, vamos. Weón, partes culiadas dan mucho miedo, weón. Son muy... ¡Star Wars! What the fuck?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just had
Se
to go back
tapa
to,
el IRL, el culiao.
Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
¿Te spoileaste de qué? ¿Por qué chuchas hacen spoiler hasta en el Discord? ¿De qué cosa? ¿Pasó algo en el Discord? ¿Qué pasó ahora, weón? Oh, lol. Lol.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
La va pa'l
meeting.
hoyo.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
¿Pero por qué spoilean esa weá, weón? ¿Qué sucede? Nada, un spoiler.
When Stanley... Wait, what?
¿What?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
What
It
the
was right
fuck?
here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley.
Oh,
Let's find
weón.
the story.
Ah, ¿por dónde nos vamos, weón? ¿O son... ¿Hay alguna weá que se parezca algo así? Tiene la enferma. Spoiler de qué mandaron de One Punch Man. ¿Acá? No sé, qué miedo.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
No, por
I
favor.
find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
No. Puta madre. Quería cachar qué más había ahí, weón.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Pero había llegado una nota. What? Tiene el esperma. Qué halos, weón. Con si nunca leo el chat y justo leí esa weá, nunca más confiaré en nadie.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
¿Vale? No hay nada, creo. ¿O sí? No sé dónde, weón.
Aha!
What?
I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind.
No hay nada.
Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Vale. ¿Qué weá?
Now this, well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
No.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't...
Gracias, muchas gracias, weón, muchas gracias, me lo merezco. Muchísimas gracias, le agradezco, weón.
And this was not one of those situations. I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Vale.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
Esta parte
Just follow
nueva.
the line. How simple is that?
Vale. ¿Qué onda? Entonces el spoiler era de One Punch Man y no del Stanley, ¿no?
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though,
Mo.
here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably coming into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on.
Se puso a llover.
Back there? Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that.
Se dijeron que iba a llover hoy
You
día,
know
¿no?
what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the
Música,
mood.
sí, música. ¿Y esta música, weón? Esta música, weón. ¿Por acá no hay nada?
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
El helecho, ¿qué es el helecho?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
¿Qué es un helecho? ¿La planta? Vale. Vale, perfecto. Recuérdala.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
What?
Zorra.
¿Qué weá? Pero... me están haciendo volver. Vale. Porque entré por la puerta del asiento 425, supongo, ¿no? Ya, vale. Vamos por acá. Para.
Oh, no, not again.
¿Estás jugando
Line,
esto?
how
Sí,
could
está
you have
bueno,
done
eh.
this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
What the fuck, van a hacer la una. ¿En qué momento, weón? Vale, a ver.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Oh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply
hermano, necesito ir al
wandering
baño,
in...
chato,
Well, I don't know. How about
Oh, no,
this
espérense.
direction?
Sí, espérenme un segundo, vengo al baño. O sea, vengo al tiro, vengo al baño. Nada que ver, weón. Vengo al tiro. Les voy a dejar chat con...
Bueno, supuestamente ya esto debería estar en directo. Supuestamente voy a publicar esto en mi Facebook de que ya estamos online, supuestamente. Así que le ponemos comenzar a esta transmisión en vivo. Y les quiero decir, muy bien, sean todos bienvenidos, ojalá, y así espero, a esta transmisión en vivo de este día, domingo. Quiero esperar a que me aparezca a mí mismo en mi pantalla de que estoy transmitiendo en vivo, porque si no, no tengo la más mínima idea de que, no sé qué voy a estar haciendo. Creo que me voy a empezar a escuchar yo mismo en algún momento, y eso espero que no ocurra. Vamos a silenciar esto un segundo. Dice starting soon. Esto ya debería comenzar. Voy a actualizar mi propia página. A ver. Bueno, si se supone que estoy en directo ya. Ok. Comenzar. Ahora sí sé que estoy en directo, que me estoy viendo yo mismo. Llevo 13 segundos de emisión aproximadamente. Vamos a... Recuerden de que pueden escribir todos sus mensajes en esta transmisión en vivo a través del hashtag Bardock1. Hashtag Bardock1 en Twitter para que sus mensajes puedan aparecer también dentro del juego, de todo el tema y bueno, todas las cosas que van a ir sucediendo durante GTA V. Como podrán ver en la siguiente escena que les voy a mostrar ahora, aquí tengo GTA V, ni siquiera me he hecho ningún personaje, es primera vez que estoy entrando a GTA V Online, así que esta va a ser una experiencia para que todos juntos podamos compartir esto nuevo de GTA V. Para mí es nuevo jugar el modo online, nunca lo he jugado, nunca me he hecho ningún personaje, así que tómenlo como un tutorial, tómenlo como un aprendiendo a hacer un personaje aquí en GTA V en modo online. Pero antes que nada, y mientras llegan las demás personas a ver la transmisión.
Hola. Hoy me fui a buscar un pan, Me fui a buscar un pan, weón. Tenía hambre, weón. ¡Bú! Tiene mierda, no estoy ni ahí, weón. Necesitaba comer algo, weón. No fuiste al baño y volviste por un pan. Fue al baño y fue por un pan. Fui por los dos, weón. Baja los precios, weón, usurero. ¿Queréis saber lo que pasa si bajo los precios, weón?
Zorra.
Listo, me pidieron el programa. Me pidieron el programa, weón. Qué weón, es más de mierda, weón. Estoy viendo la weá ahora, pensé. Después me reclaman de que la weá está muy cara, weón. Ahí está. Ahí quedó. Weón, ¿se acuerdan en un stream donde me pidieron el PC, weón? Cuando creo que fue la primera vez que puse la weá. Y se me murió el OS. Y tuve que reiniciar el PC, weón. Que fue terrible de origen, weón. La primera vez que puse canjes, clear. Pensé, déjenme abrir esta weá. Con el green screen del avión estrellándose. Perdón. La media cagada, weón. Oh, qué weá, sale que va a llover todo el día. Weón, sale que va a llover todo el puto día, weón. Qué raro ver que va a llover todo el día acá en Santiago, weón. Hace rato que no pasa, weón. No se me abre el programa, weón. No sé por qué. Ahí está, ahí lo abrí. Que acá en viva la lluvia. Bueno, acá no llueve nunca, weón. Y cuando llueve queda la cagada. Lo más probable, miren, le he puesto chat a que va a haber en las noticias de que ya va a haber uno de estas weas como... No sé si han cachado, pero hay como unas calles que tienen como una bajada y después una subida. Es como un hoyo, una U. Te apuesto que va a haber una noticia de que esa weá va a estar tapada en agua. Y que va a haber un auto atrapado ahí, sí o sí. Sí o sí, weón. Me acuerdo que tuviste una reunión con una profesora o directora de una universidad y canjearon la nuque. No, era una señora de... Calmado. Déjenme cambiar los puntos, weón, de esta vez. ¿Qué weón podemos traer de vuelta, weón? Creo que este. A ver, prueben ese. El que acabo de poner. O este. No, no está el muy árabe, weón. No pasaba nunca el avión. Mira, a ver.
Porque quieren
Zorra.
apoyar.
Está este.
A ver, dale, dale, perfecto. A ver, dale, dale, perfecto, coño, dale, perfecto, perfecto, sí, coño, por fin algo de luz, a ver, dale, 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 coño de la madre, dale, dale.
Y está este. Ah.
¡Cállate, conche tu madre! ¡Cállate, conche tu madre!
Que eso tan despacio.
¡Cállate, conche tu madre! ¡Cállate, conche tu madre!
No, es verdad que tenía esta wea. Me da mucha risa esa wea. El Casfa sola. Puta, no se vio el. Weón, me da mucha risa eso, weón. Devuelvan el haspazo. Ahí está, pues, weón, el A ver, ¿qué otro tenía, weón? Tan re caro, weón. Tenía este. ¡No! A ver, este, no sé qué chucha es esto, weón. Nunca lo he visto en mi vida, weón. No, pero no se ve nada, es malísimo. No se ve nada, es que con ese programa culiado del Trigger Fire, qué horrible, weón. ¿Por qué cortamos este, weón? ¿Por qué sacamos este, weón? Lo voy a poner este, weón.
Me fui cortado.
No sé por qué sacamos ese, weón. Estaba re bueno, weón. Y voy a poner este también. Pero este lo voy a dejar en... No, lo voy a dejar en 100. No, 200. No, 150. 150 y con... que se puede poner en 1 hora. Ya, listo. Guardar. Listo. Ya ahí puse algunos canjes antiguos y no sé qué chucha. Deja el half paso. Es que no sé qué. Es que lo que pasa es que el canje se llama XD. Pero no sé si. A ver. ¿Qué hay acá, weón, en esta weá? El Uy un gay. XD. Ahí lo puse, pero no sé qué tiene, weón. No sé si... A ver, lo voy a dejar en 20K para que se pruebe.
Dale, perfecto, coño, dale, perfecto, sí, coño, por fin algo de luz, a ver, dale.
Ya, mucho. Ah, ¿por qué tanto, weón?
Me fui cortado.
Pero si lo puse una vez. No, weón, qué rabia, weón. A ver, esta weón lo puse. Ah. Ya, listo, ahí está guardado, listo.
Now, yes, this
¡Pero concha tu madre!
A ver, dale, perfecto, coño, dale, perfecto, sí, coño, por fin algo de luz, a ver, dale, coño de la madre, dale.
Ya.
just me and Stanley.
Weón, no me dejaba guardarlo porque no dejan. No tiene Twitch no tiene permitido la palabra cállate, no sé por qué.
Near forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever
No sé
it
por
might
qué.
be, Stanley, I'm ready for
Cualquiera
it.
se canje. Falta uno que diga apágalo. Apágalo, jajaja. Oh.
No, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines
Vamos por
on
acá.
the monitor room.
¡Apágalo!
Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Qué bueno, hay nada. ¿Y ahora qué wea?
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision.
Oh,
From
conche tu
here, the
madre.
story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute
Ah,
to think.
¿qué hago acá, weón?
Just walk in circles for a minute.
¿Vale?
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere.
Piensen, chat,
Which
piensen.
means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to
¿Cuál puerta
go,
tomamos?
there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another
¿Vale?
victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Entonces es la derecha. Ay, no puedo tomar la izquierda. Ah, bueno. ¿Qué?
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's a
Weón, ¿son todos los finales?
ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes?
¿Qué weón son todos los finales?
Determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget?
Ah, es todo lo que hiciste para llegar al
My mind
final.
goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well,
Ah, verdad.
you consulted me. Why don't I get
Bueno, el
this?
narrador se ha ido. Después de
What
mucho
don't
tiempo,
I
Stanley
get a
muere.
say in all of this?
Chucha.
Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer
Conchetumare.
stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
Dramatic, bro.
The,
Que te bien, weón.
whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some
Vale.
way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm
No.
not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. Well,
Ahora
not
es el
really.
sexto reinicio. ¿Seguro?
Well, in the meantime, if you...
Concha tu madre, me asusté, weón. Vale.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vale, no puedo abrir nada. Calmado, no, pues acaba de terminar, pues weón. Terminó, entonces ya sacamos ese final. Supongo, ¿no? ¿Podemos sacar el nuevo contenido? Supongo. Ya, sacamos ese final entonces, ya, supongo.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign.
No
Yes,
cacho.
I have something very exciting to show you.
Te falta un final de la puerta izquierda. Espérame, déjame, sigamos por acá, weón. Probemos uno de acá. O... sí, probemos uno de acá, weón. ¿Por qué no, weón? Probemos uno nuevo, weón, supongo. Ojalá haya algo nuevo, weón. Ojalá algo nuevo.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was abandoned, and any new content for it should live up to that policy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further, which is why I'm very proud to announce.
LOL.
Me fui cortado.
Un segundo, chat, un segundo, estaba viendo algo. Ya. Ahora, el narrador acaba de decir que nos va a presentar algo extremadamente impresionante. ¿Qué será?
First time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
¡Oh my god! ¡Oh my god!
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
¡Wow! Tenemos Stanley Parable 2, weón. Oh my
Calling
god.
it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's
¿Qué
an
hagan en la
artistic
oficina, weón?
statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy mess. and here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Dale, a ver, ¿qué tendrá el nuevo Stanley Parable 2? A ver. ¿Qué pasa si escaneo A ver. Siempre me pregunto qué pasa si escaneo QR, weón. Que hay weas así extrañas, weón. A ver. Weón, me manda la página de Stanley Parable 2, weón. Bueno, hay un video. A ver. .com. De verdad existe. Y me manda un video. Dura 10 minutos.
Say there, Timmy. What's that you're enjoying? Why, it's breakfast, of course. Everyone loves breakfast. But did you know that breakfast is getting a sequel? That's right. It's called Lunch. And critics are raving that lunch will be everything breakfast was and more. With a little luck, we may even get a trilogy
Me estáis
series out of
weando.
it. Say, you know what a sequel is, don't you, Timmy? Why, sequels are the world's way of clinging helplessly to the past. We all want more of the things we love, and we're all afraid of change, which is what makes sequels so popular. New ideas are dangerous, Timmy, and they can lead to early aging. This eager-minded young thinker is just 29 years old. That's why we have sequels, to keep us couched in the familiar and the comfortable. Sequels are the bedrock of a healthy, functional society. And if you look around you, you'll find them everywhere you go. For instance, this man is developing a sequel to the automobile, which we'll call the vertical automobile. It's a useless, impractical invention. And in 2 days' time, the man will be publicly stoned to death for his crimes against gravity. Not all sequels are heretical nonsense, however. Here's the man who invented breathing, which is the sequel to suffocating and dying a slow death. Even your parents are getting a sequel, Timmy. Their names are Rob and Jessica, and they'll be taking care of you once your original parents are sent back in time to fight a secret war for the government. Sequels can be very fashionable. This young woman is wearing 5 shirts at once, which is the sequel to...
Me dice si es primera vez que abres el juego, puedes volver a abrirlo ya que el juego te habla de forma interactiva antes de jugar el juego. ¿Cómo? ¿Qué? No entendí nada.
Wearing 4 shirts at once. Look at Becky over there, wearing only 2 shirts at once. Get with the times, Becky. In fact, there is only one single thing in the world that isn't a sequel. It's this. We don't know what it is or why it exists, but it's the prequel from which all sequels are derived. And just like everything else, the Stanley Parable is getting a sequel too. We all know, of course, that it was your favorite game as a child. Don't you remember those long, lazy afternoons you spent playing the Stanley Parable? Watching your precious youth fritter away hour after hour. We've all wasted our childhoods in one way or another, and you were fortunate enough to get to waste yours on the Stanley Parable. But the Stanley Parable came out years ago, and you're not a child anymore. You're a man, which is like the sequel to a child. And as a man, you want manly things like taxes and cheating at baseball. You need a man's video game, Timmy. And that's why the Stanley Parable 2 will be perfect for you. It's as manly as video games can get. And if you don't believe me, let's look at the burly hunk of a man who's responsible for the game. Huh, here he is, hard at work. His name is Gregory 8-Pack, and he's the cutting picture of raw, virile masculinity. Gregory is what we call the ideas guy, and he has the most important role on the team. The ideas guy tirelessly comes up with interesting concepts and then hands them off to the rest of the developers for the relatively simple job of turning those concepts into reality. For example, he's the one who picked up the phone and declared, "Someone ought to make a sequel to the Stanley Parable." Good work, Gregory. Go ahead and take the rest of the day off.
With the hard part out of the way, work on the game can now begin. The game's developers must answer a simple question. What makes a sequel in the first place?
Reformulo, si vuelves a abrir el juego, el mismo juego te va a empezar a hablar antes de que inicies a jugar Stanley Parable. Eso, vale.
Well, it's simple. Sequels are an opportunity to correct the mistakes of their predecessors. We've all made mistakes, and we've all caused harm to someone we love in order to cover up our mistakes. When developing this particular sequel, it's important to start by thinking, what mistakes did the original Stanley Parable make? Well, first off, most of the pornography in the original game was stolen or pirated, and it's time we paid the licensing fees fair and square. Second, the Stanley Parable was catastrophic for this man named Leroy, whose personal information, including home address, social security number, and bank information, were all displayed prominently in multiple locations throughout the game. Although Leroy's money and identity were stolen, the fact remains that his personal information was the emotional core of the game and absolutely vital to a nuanced understanding of the story. As reparation for the harm we caused him, the sequel will contain a brief and insincere apology to Leroy, tucked deep within the game where it will be difficult to find. Finally, the Stanley Parable made
yo creo que de verdad existe esa weá de que están sus datos en alguna parte.
The mistake of leaking too many government secrets about the nature of the Time Wars. Without these intricate details of specific military tactics, the story is likely to make very little sense. But we've decided to remove them from the sequel in the interest of helping the state's efforts. We'll get to you yet, Time Dracula. Now then, it's time to set about constructing the Stanley Parable 2. Game development is a difficult and complex art, one which can only be fully understood by this race of hyper-intelligent child soldiers bred in laboratories. They begin by studying the original Stanley Parable. Here it is in its raw, untouched form, a specimen of technological perfection. Time to exploit it for profit. We begin by adding jokes. The Stanley Parable was most widely known for its stark lack of humor, bucking all conventional industry wisdom. It was a bold artist statement that its developers stood firmly behind. But in 2022, it's impossible to reach even a single consumer of video games without jokes of some kind. So very well, jokes it'll be. During its development, over 500 kiloliters of comedy will be funneled directly into the core of the Stanley Parable 2, creating jobs for hundreds of machine operators and producing 30,000 tons of pollutant which will be pumped directly into local lakes, rivers, and beautiful nature reserves like these all over the country. Another common complaint of the Stanley Parable is that there wasn't enough gameplay, and so for the sequel, its developers have gone to great lengths to fix this problem. Here we can see gameplay being printed onto sheets. Every video game contains as many as 1,000 sheets of gameplay, and several of the largest games ever made contain close to 1,500. On mobile devices, the gameplay sheets have to be printed smaller. For the Stanley Parable 2, as many as 35 new gameplay sheets are being printed, each of which must be delicately massaged by the hands of a child before being added into the game. This man is stealing gameplay sheets from the factory, which he likely intends
to use. Weón, está diciendo puras weas así como para esta secuela estamos haciendo, weón, no sé. Ahora la gente decía que nuestro juego era weón, le faltaba chistes. Bueno, ahora, como en el 2022, todos los juegos tienen como chistes, weón, así, les tiramos chistes, pues, weón, ahí tienen. O te dicen como, weón, decían que es muy corto el juego. Bueno, te hacemos un juego más largo que la mierda, de 12 horas, weón, ¿cachai? O cosas así, de 24 horas.
For a personal project he's been developing in his spare time. A good public stoning will cure him of that inclination. Let's check on Gregory real quick. Ha! Still recovering from a hard day's work. Don't you move a muscle. Next up, it's time to blackmail the press. In a competitive market, blackmailing your local journalist can be one of the most effective methods of creating word-of-mouth buzz for your sequel. In fact, blackmail is the currency of social progress. From your neighborhood grocer to the teacher at your school to the man who helps you steal HBO.
Está respondiendo todas las weas que le faltaba al juego, que se supone que en la wea era puro chiste, capaz la wea no era real y la agregan. Weón, esta wea de la prensa, weón, es el medio bifo, weón, la cagó.
Everyone responds to blackmail. And if you've never done it before, it's easy to practice at home on your friends and family. Simply follow the instructional pamphlet that your teacher hands out after the end of the film.
And finally, there's one last tool at our disposal for making the sequel feel fresh and exciting.
DLCs.
And that's packaging the game with collector's edition merchandise. If you order the Stanley Parable 2, you'll receive this cow's egg. A single egg will produce over 1,000 cows, which are, of course, the sequel to pigs. And there you have it. Everything there is to know about producing the Stanley Parable 2. Of course, you may know that there is also a game titled The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. So which game is the true sequel to The Stanley Parable? It's an excellent question, Billy. One which the child soldiers have been working round the clock to come up with an answer to. And after many weeks of diligent research, the conclusion they've reached is, who gives a shit? All that matters is that it's more content for you to cram down your insatiable gullet. You don't want thoughtful and nuanced answers to complex questions, Billy. You just want to eat bubblegum and cheated hopscotch. So get out there and consume. Do your civic duty and bully your parents into buying you every version of the Stanley Parable 2 on every platform. Tell your friends to bully their parents as well. It's through community efforts like these that the world comes together in harmony and connection. And it's only through this connection that we'll defeat Time Dracula once and for all. Don't let the time-traveling vampires win. Buy the Stanley Parable 2 and pledge to support all sequels for today, tomorrow, and into the great unknowable beyond.
En memoria de Billy. ¿Por qué? Chucha era Billy, weón. Oh, weón. Duró 3 años. ¿Quién chucha era, weón? Oh, weón, qué buena, weón. Ya, démosle, weón. Está muy bueno esta weón. Lo explotaron, weón. Qué buena, weón. Y pensé que todo eso fue porque un grupito de weones dijo que el juego no era divertido y respondieron a toda esa wea. Le hicieron mierda, weón.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button, which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Conche tu madre. Ay, chat, estoy nervioso, a ver. Ya vamos, 1, 2, 3.
Jim. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you roleplay as Jim to really see the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay,
vale.
Here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
Sí, soy Jim.
If so, then please step forward and press the button. Yes, you see, what a thrill, what a rush, that was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again. Jim. Oh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Vale, ¿no puedo salir por acá? No, tengo que devolverme, creo, weón. Jim. Me siento un perro ahora, weón. Ruff, ruff. ¿Qué acabo de hacer, weón?
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Espérate, ¿esa puerta estaba ahí? Me da risa que hay un 2 ahí como... Sí. Porque sí nomás. Epílogo. Ahí. 2.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Vale. 2. Esa weá está girando. Coleccionables. Wow, tiene coleccionables, weón. Qué emoción. ¿Y esa weá? Resources Bucket. Haz mundial de la configuración. Merch. Agujero infinito. The Jump Circle. 0. No me quedan. Coleccionables. Y no hay más del 2 que está así, weón. Can you find them? Can you find them? ¿Y eso? Creo que ahí está el final, weón. Nada, yo creo que me voy, creo. A ver.
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Oh, weón. Vale, creo que no lo vieron, pero son 6. Así que supongo... Supongo que debería buscar 6. Creo. ¿Y este quién es, weón? Supongo que hay que buscar 6 de esta weá, weón. Pero igual...
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully... I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Gracias, Cyberpunk. Te quiero mucho, man. El cerebro sí se puede sacar, ¿en serio? Pero supongo que hay... ¿Por acá vine o no? 2.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Los azules, weón.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
Pero, weón. Increíble. Hermano, recién entro y estoy en 8 horas. ¿Sí?
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
¿Por acá?
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical.
El hoyo, pero si ya me metí, ¿no?
Sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually designing the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Conchito, estoy nervioso.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through you. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh, estoy muy emocionado, la acabo. ¿Me puedo ir? ¿Me puedo ir con el balde? Dale, vamos. El hoyo. Pero creo que ya me había metido ahí, weón, estoy seguro.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
A ver, busquémoslo. ¿Dónde estará? A ver, el agujero infinito. ¿Era acá, no? ¿O me manda para allá? Creo que me manda para acá, weón. Ay, Mitrox. Parece que es acá.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
A ver. ¿Y me tiro? ¿Me tiro ahora? Medio se expande. Ya. ¿Y si lanza el cubo? Creo que no lo puedo soltar. Conche tu madre.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
¿Y si sigo cayendo? El hoyo de tu vieja.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things. Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. In one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Vale. A ver, voy a esperar un poquito a ver si pasa algo. Si no me responde nada, yo cacho que subo, weón. Tírate de nuevo. ¿Para qué? No creo que pase algo, ¿sí? Lo siento. Lo lamento. No pasa nada, así que supongo que tengo que subir, weón. Llévate el auto.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of... Oh, for heaven... You see? I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much.
Sí, me encantan. Me
A
encantan.
normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well,
En infinito. Descubrí el error.
There's nothing to do here.
En
If you
infinito.
decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively... Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where...
Oh.
Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Dale.
Well, there it is.
Uy.
How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
Dale, ahora te apuesto que no va a haber nada, sí. What?
Is the, teleport button not
No, no funciona. Qué wea.
You sure?
Sí.
Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing.
No,
Well,
conchetumare.
I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get
Hijo
to
de
be with
puta,
the hole,
weón.
I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Nah. ¿Y ahora qué? ¿Y ahora qué, weón? ¿Aló? ¿Qué fue esa weá? ¿Qué weá? Mi hoyo se está expandiendo, weón. Mi hoyo se está expandiendo, conche tu madre. Let's go. Finalmente, mi hoyo se expande. F para acá empieza a escuchar. Increíble. Cambia tu percepción. Wow, intenso, weón. ¿Y este tema, weón? Cambia tu realidad. Cambia tu ser. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué es esta mierda? No, la Pascua, what the fuck? ¿Qué es eso, weón? Está bueno, weón, a ver.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
LOL. Terrible drogado, ¿Va a seguir bajando? What? ¿Y volví acá?
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
A ver, el balde tranquilizador, decoraciones de la oficina, agujero casi infinito. Agujero casi infinito ahora, weón. Creo que ya probamos todo, weón. No sé qué más nos falta. El botón que es el nombre de la persona que está jugando. Círculo de salto, agujero casi infinito. No sé qué más falta, weón. Y se hace el agujero de nuevo. Creo que era por acá, weón, a ver. A ver. Aquí no nos dice nada, ¿cierto? No. Ve el agujero a ver qué pasa. Pensé que había que coleccionar más de los coleccionables, weón. Coleccionar más de los coleccionables, bro. Ah, verdad que no es por acá, no es por acá. ¿Por dónde vine? Por acá. Es por aquí. Y de ahí para la derecha, supongo, ¿no? Sí. Sí, ya probamos todo por allá, weón. Intenta ir a saltar, ¿no? Ya no puedo, weón. Si ya gasté todos los saltos. ¿Qué weón? ¿Está cerrado? LOL. No sé qué más nos falta, weón. Quizás te regalen uno, a ver.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
Sí.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
¿Por qué está tan bullazo, weón? ¿Entonces cagué? Bruh. Cagué. Me lo relimitaron, weón. ¿Qué más falta, weón? A ver. Coleccionable exit. Hay una salida, espérate. You are here. A ver, coleccionables. A9. ¿Dónde está A9? Vale. La salida está por acá, entonces. Creo que ya no nos queda nada. ¿Cierto? Nos podemos ir. Julio que revisó todo. Absolutamente todo.
Have you seen everything you wanted to?
Sí.
Ready to move on now?
Sí, vámonos. ¿Por qué tengo el balde todavía, weón? ¡Oh! Es una sala de conferencia, weón.
Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
No le saquen screenshot, chat.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes.
A ver.
Yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
¡Oh! ¡Lo estoy jugando! A ver, configuración, me sale lo mismo. A ver, iniciar partida.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Wow.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh! Vale?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket.
Dale, tengo el balde, weón. A ver. A ver. Supongo que debería ser lo mismo, bueno, no sé.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Ya, izquierda.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Dale. MITROXFEARX eres muy gracioso, gracias.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient?
Yes,
that your life is so banal and meaningless that you feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I'd never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved.
¡Cállate, weón!
Let him have it.
¿No lo tengo que dejar acá? No me deja, weón. Bueno, supongo que me tengo que ir.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
No puedo dejarlo acá, pues, weón.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket.
Wow.
That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
¡Me lo puedo dejar acá, mierda! Ya, entonces...
I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment, and to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies, easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
¿Vale? Ah, me va la chucha, ya, chúpenlo. Me voy para adelante, weón, pico.
Coming to a staircase,
Vamos para
Stanley
arriba.
and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Y acá supongo que para allá nomás, pues, weón, vamos. Y de aquí para acá.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket
¿Vale?
would.
Ya, pues, weón, pero dame el código, ¿cuál era?
The two of them were
Oh,
inseparable.
conche tu madre.
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
¿Ya?
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Dale, vamos.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Voy a hacer todo el lore original nomás, pico, weón. ¡Qué suerte! ¡Oh, my God!
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
¿Ya?
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control.
Weón, verdad, creo que acá no me matan. Porque lo había mostrado en la tele, weón, cuando... antes.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Weón, pero este no era la sala de una sala de pantalla, weón, de no me acuerdo qué chucha.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Oh, qué miedo,
The bucket
weón.
had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Está lloviendo terrible fuerte. ¡Oh!
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter.
Ese es el final fácil, pero te fuiste por el escape y no lo hiciste. Pero si me mataron cuando hice esta weá, pues weón. Weón, ¿no se acuerdan que fue como lo primero que hice, weón? Creo que fue que me metí en ese camino y me decían como te moriste, así que tomé el camino del escape, pues weón.
Friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Wow.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way.
Nunca fuiste por aquí. ¡Weón! Me acuerdo perfectamente. Bueno, espérense, weón, ¿sabéis qué? Bueno, van a ver y se van a quedar callados. Van a decir, sí, Mitrox, tenías mucha razón. Miren, te lo voy a mostrar. Mira, vaya a ver. Y vaya a ver y vaya a decir, Mitrox, eres el mejor, weón. Tienes una memoria increíble, weón. De verdad, es impresionante la memoria que tenés, weón. Conchetumare, ¿cuánto rato llevamos jugando esta wea? Oh, bueno, me doy cuenta de todo el rato que llevamos jugando esta wea. Es que está muy bueno, weón. A ver, pensé. Si tenéis razón, te doy un beat. ¿Cuándo pasa aquí?